Hey, in the news, folks, is Michael DeSilvis. I want to give you some analysis on this gun attack and what implications does it have for us here in America. Well, to give you an idea, France is known to be unarmed, or what is called a gun-free zone. Like we told you, if you go back and you trace all these gun attacks that happened in America, and all these areas, most of them occurred in gun-free, what we call zones or territories. Well, the same is true for France. And so when people know that a place has no guns, it's like saying, hey, I'm here, rob me, come take my children, do whatever you want, because I have no way to defend myself, because I'm going to wait for the police to get there. And on average, it takes them about, 10 or 20 minutes to get there. Well, a lot of people can be killed in 20 minutes, or 10 minutes even too. So that's why you should have the ability to defend yourselves, And secondly, with all these refugees coming in, not being screened here in the United States, and even over there in France and all in Europe and everywhere else, this is another reason why this attack took place and why we will have attacks here in the future if we don't close these borders. This shows that their plan, saying that the idea of having this liberal kind of mindedness, closed-mindedness, saying that, hey, if we take the guns away from the citizens, then we'll be safe. That is a lie from hell. We just saw what happened in France. It's been attacked 3 times within the past year. This is the worst of them all what happened. And my thoughts go out to the people, and I feel sorry for them, but at the same time, they get what they deserve because they're not defending themselves. They don't have guns. They have ridiculous laws where you have to go and they only use them for hunting, and they have to renew them every 6 months. And they have psychological evaluations. It's ridiculous. But this is some of the laws they have in place. And they can only use them for hunting, and that's it. They can't use them for protection or walk around with them like we do here in the States. And in the areas in the United States, I'm not going to just pick on them, but the areas in the United States, the crime is off the charts, just like it is in Paris and in France and in London. They have break-ins, people getting raped, children getting taken. It's a lot higher in areas where the guns aren't. I mean, this data, we can prove this. I mean, you go to in the United States, go to federalgovernment.gov and go under where it talks about guns, where it talks about weapons and talks about different statistics about how people get killed. You have a lot higher chance of getting killed by getting in a car crash or a train accident than you do by someone shooting you with a gun. I mean, it's just logic. It's proof, that guns do protect and do prevent it. And I believe this false flag is what I'm going to call it, what happened in France last night. Because the reason why I say that is because I got a couple of reports saying that that France and Germany intelligence services knew about this assault that was going to take place a month earlier. They knew about it. And they had plenty of troops out there on the streets that should have stopped it. But somehow they had inside help. This is exactly what the news said on 2020 last night. I was watching that on Saturday night's thing. It was pre-recorded. Said they had inside help. That's how they were able to get around it. So somebody knew the security, knew how to get around or paid them off or something. Because with all the security they had there, that would not have taken place. And if the citizens had guns, I know it wouldn't take place either. Now, I know my friend in France, he disagrees with that because he don't like guns. Ooh, I'm scared of guns. I don't think anybody should have them because, ooh, they're going to come and shoot you. Ooh. Well, I tell you, if you don't have them either, you're going to get shot because they know you don't have them, so you're an easy target. So, I understand your opinion. Your mindset's closed and narrow, but I understand that's the way you see it because that's the way you were born. You didn't like guns, and some people in the United States are like that. Ooh, you get all nuts and things. But you got to understand, if you had guns, you'd be really appreciative if someone had a gun. If someone's trying to rob you and they shot the person for you. But it's all you people always come to defense it. Oh, only law enforcement and army people should have guns. So I didn't like it with retarded kind of. Only law enforcement people and officers and the military should have a gun. That's what it sounds like to me. But,
That's why a lot of people die, because you don't have no way to protect yourself. So really, that logic sounds really dumb when you really think about it. That's why people have guns. That's why there's a lot lower crime.
Because the truth is true. You have lower crime when you have guns. You'd have higher crime when you don't. It's not nothing too hard to figure out, people. So I would really rethink this. I'd go talk to your parliaments over there and talk to them about getting your guns back. I would definitely do that, and I'd close those borders up like Chinatown. And the U.S. needs to close their borders up too, like Chinatown. Because if we don't, we're going to have the same problems happening over here, just like what happening over there in France and Paris. It's our fault because we're asleep behind the wheel, and we need to be woken up from all the fluoridation and everything that we're eating and consuming and chemicals in our food, and we need to start eating real food. That's natural and good to wake you up and clean, detox your body out so you can have your brain to work instead of it being eaten up by all the chemicals and all that you're ingesting, especially all the medicine you're taking. So, there's a lot of, all these things that are happening. That's what really makes you dumb down. And that's why I say for all the people that are in the know that are awake, I'm not talking to you. But the ones that are not awake out here, I'm talking to you. And which is a lot of you. A lot of you I know. Go to church and all. Don't know what to do. Don't have a clue. And a lot of y'all think that guns are bad. Because that's what the media has told you and brainwashed you to believe. Well, I would look at the data. I would look at the internet. I would look at the newspapers. I would go back and go look at microfiche and do a history search. You can go back in the library, wherever you live. Because, one time France and Paris, they had guns. They weren't just, they were taken away within the last, 10, 20 years? 10, 20 years, I think. So at one point, they all had guns. And crime was less. But then when they took the guns away, crime went off the charts. Or because they're suppressing the media since everything's being so regulated over there, and even right down to their internet, they have stricter limits than we do. It seems like their crime's less, but they're just not reporting it right. It's actually more. And of course, we got the data here to show that. We actually got it through their site. We actually got the data from an informant. So the thing is, the data there, it's a lot higher than what they're reporting. And that's the thing, All the security soldiers, the police presence they had, none of this should have happened. Unless they got paid off or bribed or somehow they were able to do it. Because with all the security they had, that should not have happened. None of that stuff should have took place on Friday. And especially if the people had guns in their hand, not just for hunting, but they had it on their hips and they had it there with them. That would have caused that not to happen either. Because, a lot of these people that are criminals, they're going to go where people don't have guns. If they know there's no guns, then that's the place they're going to go to do their crime in. Because they know it's open season because you don't have a gun. You just no way to protect yourself. So that's why they come and rob you and steal your children and rape you and everything else. Because they know you can't protect them to defend yourself. That's what they know. That's what I know. That's why that happens, folks. So anyway, that's, and then, now they're going to have the global summit coming there at the end of this month. This is how it all ties in together. They can use this idea of where these attacks occurred and say, hey, this is why we need a global tracking system to track. First, it'll be the refugees coming in or the aliens coming in. That's really what they are. They don't like the word. Ooh, I said some false crime police. Woo, 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 false crime. Oh no, I said a bad word. Aliens. Oh. But no, that's what they are. They don't live here, do they? They're coming in. They're not documented, are they? That's what they are. They're not refugees. They're not refugee. That's not a refugee. They're aliens. They're not refugees here at all. So, that's wrong terminology there. Got to go back to school. Now, what is school anyway? There's a lot of worthless degrees out there. I mean, what is higher education? I see a whole lot of worthless degrees, but that's a whole other discussion. But the thing is, that's why they want to bolster this thing. Go back to what I'm talking about. But the fourth, they call it the 4D system, called tracking system, electronic biometric system, where they want to track you with a chip. And that's where they're going towards. This is being backed by the Global Bank Initiative. This was announced just a couple weeks ago from Lisa Haven's podcast. If you looked at that on Facebook, this is a global initiative, and so they can say, use this at the global summit. Well, we had all these attacks in Syria and in Russia and in United States and France. This would happen this Friday, and we can say, well, We need to take guns away from everybody. We need to have stricter laws on the places where they do have guns. And therefore, by taking them away, we'll be safe. And we can track all these people with these chips. And that way we can have that so we know where they are at real time. We'll see eventually that's going to go to everybody. Not just the refugees, but to everybody. Everybody's going to be implanted with these chips. That's going to be your new ID or license, people. It's going to be in your hand or on your head. Or in your forehead, that's what I meant to say. So teleprompter free. So that's what this is all about. Get out of the clouds, get your head out of the sand or out your rear end, and really see what's going on. Wake up, smell the coffee, because this is really, really good black coffee here. And I ain't saying that to be racist. And I hate it when I hear black people say blacks matter. Because, yeah, they matter, but everybody else matters too. All races matter, not just black people. We're all in this together, so stop thinking it's about you. Stop thinking that it's about somebody owes you something. Because nobody owes you nothing. Nobody owes me nothing. So start thinking that all lives matter, because they all do matter in the Lord's eyes, and that's how we should see it in our eyes. I'm getting tired of people talking about blacks matter, blacks this, blacks that. You don't hear whites doing that, do you? Whites this, whites that, do you? I don't. So, it sounds racist when blacks do it. You want to get technically, it does. It should be all about everybody. It's all distraction people anyway. People that are smart and know these things that are higher than this elementary stuff going on out in the playground. Hillary Clinton says, oh, that's what everybody does. Oh, we had those things happen in the 60s, yeah. But, we're supposed to be better people now today. We're not supposed to go back to the 60s. Okay, but, of course, it's all about pushing tougher laws and controlling thought and speech. So we got to have that going so we can trigger our flags, so we can make laws to make it harder for people to speak freely. That's what all that's about. So, that's why they get us all up in arms so nobody knows what's going on, see? And then you're distracted by that, what they're doing by robbing and taking your freedoms away. Because you're all arguing over stupid stuff that really don't have nothing to argue about. When we should be focusing on the open borders. When we should be focusing on where all our freedoms are at risk. And they're going to take away our guns next year. That's what we need to be focusing on. Not all this stupid stuff. Okay? Because that's what it's about, people. Your freedom changing forever. Because of bad people that are in high places of government and people that are in here that are in the government working that aren't really Americans. That shouldn't even be here. And that's what it's about. Not about all this crazy, pansy stuff. Look at the real picture. Look at the real issues. It's not about black and white. It's about everybody, because all colors are the ones that are going to suffer. In the end, it's not about blacks and whites. It's everybody. And we're all in this together, and that's what we got to realize, people. It's not about that. People want to make it into that, but it's not that. It's because all these colleges and universities where you go to have all these classes that want to breed this stuff. And it's usually a white male or a Latino or a black person that usually that's in minority that wants to stir it all up, because they have classes where they have these people come in of those race descriptions that have formulated this all throughout the countries at all universities pretty much. And that's what stirs this up. Okay, so now, we got to defuse that. And how do we do that? With information. That's how. And knowing and understanding what history is so we don't repeat it. Because we're repeating a lot of history here that we already had in the 60s. It's coming back here in the 2000s. What you see happening in the 60s and the 50s is what we see happening in the 2000s. When you see all this stuff happening, it's what it reminds me of, the 60s. What took place in the 60s, very much so. It's exactly what's happened here in 2000, all over the world. When we hear about wars on speech and everything, it was like that in the 60s and 50s. And it's coming back. It's coming back for another round, people. And that's why we need to know what's going on. Go back and look at history. Go back and look at it on the internet or in the library. The unadulterated history about human history, what happened in different countries. Before they change it. Because, they're changing everything. I mean, they want to take up the signs. They want to take up the markers, They want to take up the statues, all throughout America. They want to remove the statues on Mount St. where Mount Rushmore is, where the 4 presidents or 5, 6 presidents' heads that are carved out of there. They want to remove all those. Yeah, they really do. If they haven't done it already, they want to take away. They took away the flag, the state, the rebel flag. That's not a racist flag. However, people made it into that. No, it's about history. It might have been that used some, but a lot of times it was just for history. It's not, they weren't using it for racism. But, the KKK may have used it some. But today, when it's used, when you see it hanging up, it's not about that. But people make it into that because people aren't educated about history properly. That's why they think that. So, because really, that flag symbolizes the Southern Confederacy. It has nothing to do with blacks. But people made it into that. That's why they're taking them down everywhere. And then the same is true what they're going to do next with the American flag. You watch. It's going to happen. It will. Because they'll think, well, all the refugees coming in here who are Syrian and Russian and Muslim soldiers is really what they are. Most of them are. They're clean shaven. They got new clothes on. Come on. If you can't believe that, you see a lot of them coming in. They're not poor. They're nicely shaven and dressed. They all got cell phones and gear. And that's the way it is here in the United States and the way it is over there in France and everywhere else. These people a lot of them have money. They don't need to be here. They're here because they're working with the sleeper cells all throughout the world. So when they get the orders, that's why this battle took place, because they had inside help. Exactly. Because the cells were already there, dumbasses. Why do you think they had help? Because they were already there. Did you catch it? That's why they attacked. That's why they attacked you. Wake up, people. Peace. I love you. Michael DeSilvis, soldier for the Lord, soldier for Christ. See you later. Bye for now.